Hello everyone, back into today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days, or today's second video, which will take us to around the 7th, 8th of March. We'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles. Have a look at Beijing Climate Centre at the end of the video next 40 days. I'm running very late, sorry about that, so we won't talk about anything else. We'll just get straight on with it. And we're going to start off with the latest flood warnings for England from Flood Warning Information Service.gov.uk/warnings, and we can see that we still have one severe flood warning, which is giving a danger to life. That's on the River Severn at Ironbridge. The other warning that we had at Shrewsbury, that has been taken off now, so things are improving there. Still very critical though at Ironbridge. 82 flood warnings are still in force. That's where we've got immediate action. Flooding is expected, immediate action required. And we've got 125 flood alerts where flooding is possible. 33 flood warnings are no longer in force. If you think your local river or stream could be affected by flooding, then please come to this page and have a look, see what you've got to do. Keep yourself safe. We link to this in the description at YouTube and on all of the on the links page at galsworthies.com. We've got another named storm coming up. So this tweet was put out by the UK Met earlier on today. They're saying the Spanish Meteorological Service AEMET has named an area of low pressure, and it is a hashtag Storm Jorge. Jorge, I think, is the name. And they're saying it will bring wet and windy weather to the UK over the weekend with up to 60-mile-an-hour gusts inland. Weather warnings are in force. Keep up to date with the forecast. Stay hashtag weather aware. And this is the animation that they're running showing Storm Jorge, and you can see how this low pressure is going to sweep in off the Atlantic, bringing heavy rain and severe gales Friday through to Saturday. Could be some snow involved in it as well. And it's just, here we go again, 50, 60 mile an hour gusts, 65 to 70 mile an hour gusts on coasts. There will be heavy rain associated with this storm as well. So here we go again, another weekend and another storm coming in off the Atlantic. This one named by the Spanish Meteorological Service, Storm Jorge, and we'll have more about that, of course, tomorrow. Staying unsettled for the next week, 10 days as well. These are the 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts for the next week to 10 days from Penn State University. Got the ECMWF on the top, the GFS, which I'll look in a moment, is on the bottom. 500 millibars is an area in absolute high pressure, low pressure are being moved around by a jet stream running above. Red extrapolates high pressure, blue to low pressure. You can see it in the week to 10 day time frame. Low pressure is still in business, still coming in off the Atlantic. So up to like the end of the first week of March, it's still looking unsettled. A ridge out to the west and also to our northeast as well, but we're under low pressure to the end of the first week of March. As we go down to GFS, this is what we're seeing. Again, below average heights to the north and close to the country, a ridge in the middle of the Atlantic. Jet stream doing something like that, and so rather cool and unsettled conditions again up to the end of the first week of March. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. Let's go to regional at Sheffield today. So the red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for Sheffield. We're starting off below average at the moment. Going to go mild with Storm Jorge. That's going to bring some mild air in from off the Atlantic. And then we're going to see temperatures dropping down as we go through to the second half of the weekend. Next week, first week of March, looking quite cold. We are seeing a warming trend into the second week of March. There's a definite warming trend into the second week of March, and maybe a drying trend too. Lots of rainfall spikes up to the end of the first week of March. That's the 8th March is there, and then into the second week of March, yes, it looks like we've got a drying trend. So light perhaps at the end of the tunnel now for this very wet and unsettled spell that we may be seeing. The first sort of light at the end of the tunnel with drier and warmer conditions perhaps coming along, maybe spring spring coming along for the second week of March. Temperature anomalies over the next few days, 27th of February to the 6th of March, below average, going to be a cold and average week coming up. Precipitation anomalies above average, remains cool and wet really. That's how the GFS's 6 o'clock run, which the midday run is updating as we're speaking, but I can't show you that. I'm going to show you the 6 o'clock run instead. So Sunday, cold, windy, showery, low pressure is in control of the weather. This is Storm Jorge, of course, sitting over northern parts of Scotland. We go into the early part of next week. We remain very unsettled. Low pressure continuing to drive in off the Atlantic. Could be rain or snow associated with those areas of low pressure. Up to day 10, that's how we're looking. And by day 10, just maybe first hints of a bit of a ridge building down to the southwest. So starting to get a little bit drier by the 8th of March, perhaps. And many more extended range. Look at this. High pressure starts to take over, building up from the south, bringing a lot of dry weather with it. By the very end of this GFS run, gets us to the 14th of March. We may be taking that high pressure up towards Greenland, Iceland, and possibly hinting at trying anyway to pull down a very cold northerly wind. We'll have to see about that. That's a long way off. It's over 2 weeks away. The basic trend is that by day 10 and beyond, into second week of March, high pressure is developing. That's the GM, looking stormy on Sunday. Severe gale force winds and heavy rain. Could be some snow involved in that as well. Into the early part of next week, remains unsettled. This low on a southerly track, bringing a risk of rain or snow across parts of the country through the middle of next week. Up to day 10 though, just a few hints again. High pressure beginning to reach down to our south, trying to reach northeastward. So up to day 10, bit of a southwesterly starting to develop, and just begin to go a little bit milder on Sunday, the 8th of March. The ECM looks like that again. Very, very unsettled conditions on Sunday. Severe gales, heavy rain, could be snow mixed in too. Through the course of next week, more low pressure coming in off the Atlantic through the middle part of the week, bringing lots of wet and windy weather. And then up towards day 10, stays unsettled. The ECM keeping things unsettled up to day 10, which is Sunday, the 8th of March. Not much sign of high pressure building in there. This is how the precipitation type forecast looking based on that ECM run from Tometeo.com. Rain, sleet and snow was in the south today. That's cleared away now. Tomorrow, more heavy rain piling in from the Atlantic. It'll be a very wet day across the northwest parts of the country. Some of that could turn to snow up in the north. More rain overnight Friday into Saturday. Some of that looks heavy. Wintry showers following along behind. Overnight, Saturday into Sunday, we could see some snow up in the north. Maybe blizzards on hills. Be very windy as well. Rain flirting with the south through the course of Sunday itself. Into Monday again, wintry showers draped around northern western coast. Most places looking dry. Then more rain coming around the middle of the week. Risk of some sleet and snow. With that perhaps too detailed to be determined. And then we go up towards a more extended range, heading up towards day 10. Still looking very unsettled actually at day 10, with more heavy rain piling in from the Atlantic. Once that one clears through, maybe we will start to see some higher pressure then. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10 from the Icelandic Met Office. This gets us to the 8th of March. We have 18 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure through the country and looking very unsettled. 15 again, low pressure over to the west. They look very unsettled too. 13 with low pressure, that's a little bit more to our south, but still unsettled. And then 5, only 5 that have a ridge to our northwest, low pressure to our southeast. That's turning wind into quite a cold east-northeasterly, but would be a little bit drier. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got, only 2 of them. 35 members of the ECM ensembles in 2 weeks' time, 13th of March, have above average heights, high pressure over to the south of the country, below average heights up to the northwest. That's going to be a drier and milder option. And then 16, it's a minority option, but 16 members of the ECM ensembles with northern blocking and winds coming from a cold easterly direction. Both options are a lot drier though, so by the second week of March, running up to the middle of the month, the idea is still there, and perhaps the potential is growing for things to become drier, more anticyclonic. The only question is where the high pressure is sitting. If high pressure is where this option is, then it's going to be quite spring-like. If the high pressure is where this option has it, it could actually be quite cold with easterly winds. All will be revealed. Beijing Climate Centre, lastly, is looking like this. These are 500 millibar heights broken down to 10-day periods. The first 10-day period takes from 26th of February to the 3rd of March, and the coming 10 days, well, the 6th of March, to say 26th February to the 6th of March. Coming 10 days is unsettled, low pressure dominating and bringing in the westerly winds. No change on the pattern throughout the whole of winter. But signs of a change in the next 10-day period. This is the 7th to the 16th of March. Above average heights then starting to build from the south and southwest. Low pressure up to the north. Jet stream starting to be pushed northwards as well. That's beginning to settle down. And then high pressure takes over as we go from the 17th to 26th of March. We're under a big ridge of high pressure. Low pressure's up here. That's proper spring. That is proper spring weather. Dry, fine, pretty mild, if not quite warm. Temperature probably getting into mid-teens Celsius. Nights could be cold, I suppose, but that looks like proper spring. And then the final 10-day period is the 27th of March to the 5th of April. Above average heights, then very close to the country. Below average heights up to the north. It's all changed, and it's into anticyclonic high pressure dominated weather. We see this finally on this graph, which is from the 6 o'clock GFS run at the Weather Outlook. This is showing mean sea level pressure within each individual GFS ensemble member. Look at this, definite signs of a change. Dates are on the bottom of the graph. So we've got very low pressure coming up with Storm Jorge over weekend, going down to around 80 millibars, but after that, as that storm gets out of the way, a gradual rise in pressure takes place through the first week of March, although still relatively low pressure then, between around 1,010 and 1,000 millibars. But into the second week of March, this period just here, then we see definite signs within the GFS ensembles of high pressure. Most of those ensemble members are taking the pressure, mean sea level pressure, up to between 1,020 and 1,030 millibars, one or two including the operational run going even higher than that. Definite signs of high pressure for the second week of March. So we could be seeing the beginning of the end of this horrible spell of extraordinarily wet and unsettled weather. We may now be seeing the signs that it's coming to an end, and high pressure is going to become much more influential and start to exert its authority by the end of the last week of, by the end of the first week of March into the second week of March. Right, that's it. I'm so late today, but I've had to rush through this, so sorry if it's all been a little bit hard to decipher, but I had to get the video up for you. I've been really late with it, so big sorry about that, and tomorrow we will have more sensible videos for you then. Right, that's all for now though, and thanks for watching.